Today's sponsor is Encore Live, Sarasota Bradenton's #1 destination for live entertainment. Jason White,
Yes, sir.
welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
Welcome to the Jacked Up Podcast
That's
with
right.
K Rock.
Excited to be here.
And thank you for coming in on such short notice, too.
Yeah.
It's been a very cold day today here in Sarasota, isn't it? Nuts?
I love it. Secretly, like I love cold weather.
Do you really?
Yeah, I grew up in the South, so it's always hot. So anytime there's a chance for like a cold snap, I relish it.
It's refreshing, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, you get to wear clothes that you normally don't get to wear, right? So like I'm
Exactly.
wearing jeans and boots, and I got a flannel shirt in the back there.
Yeah, I get to wear my vest. I love a good vest.
So you're an accomplished musician. You're local here in Sarasota. And today we're going to talk about, to all of our fans and all your fans are going to learn about you today. We're going to take them on a journey of your career. And we're going to talk about how you got started in music and all the great things that you love about playing live.
Yeah, sounds
How's
good.
How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds great.
Let's start back from where are you from originally?
Yeah, so originally I'm from Louisiana. Like my whole family's from out there, and when I was a kid, we grew up mostly in Louisiana. We lived in Texas for a while, and then came back, and then back to Texas, and then in college ended up in Texas. And so I always call myself a Louisiana boy with some strong Texas roots.
So what were your teams growing up? Like who were you rooting for?
Yeah, so it was weird. So because there's no major league baseball teams in Louisiana, so you're either an Astros fan or a Braves fan. So I ended up being an Astros fan for a while, then a Braves fan, and then as far as football, you're either Saints or Dallas. And I had a mentor in high school that was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so I ended up a Steelers fan for a long time.
Well, you got some great college football in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
Terry Bradshaw.
That's my alma mater, actually, Louisiana Tech. Yeah.
Right. And then he became the Steeler
That's
legend.
right.
So I could totally see how people from Louisiana could follow the Steelers.
Yeah,
'cause of Terry. I'm older than you, and I remember like the Steel Curtain. I remember like the old Steelers, man, like Rocky Blyer and Franco Harris and all those guys. Me and Joe Green, that was great. But I'm a New York Jet fan, born and raised, right?
I'm sorry.
But living here, I know, right? But living here in Florida, in the Tampa Bay area, I've grown to love the Buccaneers, man.
Yeah, I like them a lot. And I'm more of I like players more than maybe a little more than teams. And I really love Baker Mayfield. I've loved him since college. And I think he's a pistol, man. Like just let him do his thing and he's going to surprise you.
What's not to like about that guy?
Yeah, right.
He's the kind of guy that like you can go out and have beers with
Yeah.
and, go to a barbecue with and just be totally normal. Like there's nothing pretentious. Like it would be different if it was like Aaron Rodgers or somebody like that or Brady. But it seems like he's a guy's guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's
Baker.
just a Southern boy, like I think he's from Texas originally and just a cool guy. Just seems like a really like, hey, I know I'm playing a sport. Like I'm not changing lives, but I'm having a good time and I hope you are too. I'm here to entertain you and I'm here to win some games. And I think that's a great way to look at it. So,
I look at the NFL now as entertainment.
Yeah.
Because, that's what it's about. It's about ratings and it's about excitement and it's a business, man.
Mm-hmm.
They own Sunday now.
Yeah.
I watch football religiously, man, and everybody I know watches it, right?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I don't get to watch as much as I'd like just because I don't have normal TV. I only have a couple streaming services, but occasionally I'll catch them or I'll run to a bar somewhere and sit down and enjoy a cold one and good game.
I have to ask you this question because it's pertinent. Who do you like in the big game this weekend?
So I don't have a dog in this fight, but between the two, man, I think I like Sam Darnold. Like I like the story.
I do.
Everybody keeps passing on him, and he just keeps getting better and just keeps performing. So I think I'm going with Seattle.
I agree 100%. Plus, he used to be a Jet quarterback.
Yeah.
And the Jets didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
So they got rid of him, and look at him now.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a superstar.
Exactly. Now, normally I think I would probably pull for Denver, but I'm still a little bit, hurt over their head coaching situation, being as somewhat of a Saints fan.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So speaking of entertainment, the Grammy Awards were on TV last night.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to see any of it?
I just saw highlights today and saw some of the award winners, and it was, I feel like it was better than last year. So.
I'll tell you, Jelly Roll. What a tremendous weight loss.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to have lost 200 pounds. I don't know. Is that right, you think?
Yeah, I think it's 200 or like 189, but like he had a personal trainer on tour with him and a chef. So he
looks fantastic.
Yeah, he had somebody making every meal, pushing him to work, and man, kudos to him because that's not
Now,
easy.
he always talks about his situation where he was in a prison cell.
Yeah.
And he prayed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about his faith.
Mhm.
which I love,
Mhm.
and he talks about, the Bible,
Mhm.
and he's a complete success story.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yeah. He's honestly, he's kind of, an inspiration to me because I've only been doing this for like 4.5 years. And so I want to go as far as I can. Like I love Sarasota and I want to play as many gigs here, but I want to go even further if I can. And it's one of those things where I'm older. In the country scene, it's mostly young cats. And I'm up there a little bit older in Jelly Roll, but I'm like, hey, maybe if he can do it, maybe I got a shot. Now Steven Wilson Jr. is the same way. He's in his late 40s and he's crushing it and he's just making good music. And I think the music shines through.
What do you love about country music?
Man, I think for me, country music is like it's home. It's like going home. So I grew up deep South, Louisiana. We listened to nothing but country music until we got cable in I think we got cable. The first time we got cable was I was like 7 and we had like VH1. So my brother would listen to a little bit of rock music and stuff like that, maybe some MTV. And then we didn't have cable again, so then it was just still nothing but country. And then in high school, we got cable again, and I had MTV and VH1. So then I got to listen to like rock and a little grunge and some hip hop and pop and stuff like that. And so, but country's just always been there. It's never let me down.
So I'm assuming that you were a child listening to the radio a lot. But
Yes,
were your parents and your siblings and any older relatives, like, were they the big country music people as
they
well?
were all yeah. So the person that got me into music the most was my older brother. He's 6.5 years older, and then I have a sister that's 4.5 years older, and it was country all the time. Like he would save up his money from what little bit of chores he did or mowing the grass or whatever, and he'd go buy a country cassette tape. And it was always George and Alan and all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, this guy Garth Brooks came along.
And
And
CDs came out.
yeah, and then CDs. But my
Right.
brother latched on to Garth, and we listened that first album of Garth with the dance on it and Much Too Young. Like we wore that tape out, and that's where I feel like I got ended up with a lot of my vocal stylings and things like that is from mimicking what I would hear Garth do. Cause like, man, this dude's so good. And then I would listen to George and then I'd listen to Travis Tritt and all these guys. They all influenced just the way, cause I never had a voice lesson or anything like that. And it was just like, if I would try to sing like them and I could do that. I could do that little run or that little, pitch correction or change here. And I could kind of put a little soul on it here. I don't know. It's just always fun. And I didn't know that it was like something that I could actually use. It took me a while to figure that part out.
But like, when did you realize in your lifetime that you actually had talent and that you could actually entertain people?
That was probably that was middle school. A buddy of mine, we had 4-H and every month we'd have our club day and we'd go to 4-H meetings and he heard me sing and he was like, dude, you're singing. And so he'd pick a song and I'd get up and sing it a cappella before we started the 4-H meetings. And everybody's like, oh man, you could sing. And I was like, oh, okay.
No,
So
it's a great story.
that's where it kind of
Same with
came
me,
from.
man. I remember like the girls in elementary school, they used to ask me to sing because they heard me sing and they thought I was good.
Yeah.
So I just built my confidence.
Yeah.
Right. And then you kind of get a little bit of an ego, right?
Yeah.
But then I realized, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
So let's talk about guitar.
Yeah. That one is, I will say that's definitely my weakest. I got a guitar when I was young, but where we were at, there weren't a lot of like places to go and get lessons. And my parents didn't have the means and they couldn't transport me because I was kind of almost like a one parent family. So I went through a divorce at a young age. My dad remarried and my stepmom would work until like 7 o'clock. She wouldn't get home till 7. And he was a lot of times going off on the road working construction. So he wouldn't come home for weeks. And so for her to try to manage me and an older sister, trying to get us to lessons, there weren't any lessons in the area. So to try to get home and then drive us somewhere. So I just picked up chords from my buddies, it was before YouTube. And we'd just sit around. And he'd be like, oh man, you know this chord? I'm like, no, show me. And he'd show me. So I got like the cowboy chords, 4 basic chords. And I would just do that. But I got really excited about writing music. And I never progressed when I was younger because I was like, I'm just going to write. Like, I don't need covers. I'm going to write. So I wrote a lot in college and then put the guitar down for an extended period of time and lost a lot of those songs and forgot half of it. And then didn't come back to it until 2021. So,
Do you remember the reason why you came back to it? Like,
yeah, I do. So excuse me. So in college, I would do open mics and I would do talent shows and whatever I could. It was all solo, but I wanted to do that. And I wanted to move to Nashville and pursue the dream. And I met this young lady and fell in love, and we were crazy and mad about each other, and come to find out that person wasn't the biggest fan of me doing music. And so I kind of hung that up for about 13 years because every time I pick up the guitar, it would be an issue, or she didn't like me playing out. And there's reasons for that. I don't know, but I hung it up. So I didn't do any music for 13 years. And then went through a divorce. I tell people all the time, I'm like, well, I took a long break, sabbatical from music. And just like my marriage, it's over. So we're going to start doing music now. And so went through a divorce, and my sister was battling cancer. My sister Cheyenne, she's the one right above me. And she'd been battling cancer, and we got together for Easter in April of 2021 or March of 2021. And in Louisiana for Easter, that's like prime crawfish season. So I fly home and we all get together. And it was the first time in 16 years that my mom was in the same room with all three of her kids. And so we had a big crawfish bowl. We were laughing, cutting up. My brother had brought his guitar, and he starts playing, and I'm singing with him. And he hands me the guitar. I'm like, "Bro, it's like three chords, all I remember." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So we just, did that for a while. We're drinking. And my sister, at one point, I'll never forget this, as long as I live, she leaned back in her chair and she goes, "Hey, little brother." And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Why don't you do music anymore?" I said, "Well, I just kind of lost heart for it." She was like, "I really wish you'd try again." I was like, "Ah, maybe." And fast forward like another month or so, it's like mid-May, I was in a men's group, and one of the guys heard me singing before the group started. He's like, "Dude, you can sing?" I was like, "I mean, I like to sing." And he was like, "Bro, you gotta start singing." I was like, "Ah, maybe." And he's encouraging me. And my sister would still be like, "I still think you should try again." And then unfortunately, at the end of May, May 30th, she passed away. She succumbed to her cancer, and so it was kind of rough week or two there. And my next door neighbor, I lived in these condos, and my next door neighbor for like 2 years had been inviting me to go to an open mic. He'd heard me singing around the condos, and ex-wife was like, "No, we don't want to do that." I was like, "Oh, that's fine." So we wouldn't go. We never went. And finally, he hit me up and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing Friday?" And I was kind of out of it. I just dropped my kids off, and I said, "Man, I don't know. Like, it's my first Friday without something in a while." He's like, "All right, come to open mic." Oh, he got me. He goes, "No, come to open mic. It's my birthday. I'll buy you a beer." And I kind of gave him a look and I said, "Your birthday's this Friday." He said, "Yeah." I said, "How are you going to be, man?" He said, "I'll be 44." I said, "I'll be there." What he didn't know is that same Friday would have been my sister's 44th birthday. And I was like, "Okay, sis, this is a sign that
Sure.
there's not, it's too much coincidence
Right.
there." So I go to this open mic, and after a couple, he convinced me to sing. And her favorite song by Garth Brooks was The River. And she wanted me and my brother to sing it at her funeral. I couldn't. I was like, "Man, I can't get through that." I was a mess. He didn't quite get through it, but he managed. And so for whatever reason that night I stood up there and I did The River a cappella at that open mic night. And since she passed, that's the only time I've ever been able to sing that song without breaking down, even if singing at the house. Um, I walk off the stage and the owner of the restaurant is here in town. She said, "I want you to do 2.5 hours of country music." I said, "Ma'am, I've never played music that long, 'cause I don't ever done like open mics." And I was like, "And I don't have a guitar." She said, "Well, the gig is yours. If you want to figure it out." Next day, neighbor knocks on my door again. He goes, "Hey, so and so, last night that you met, he heard you didn't have a guitar, and he wants you to use this one." And he just pulled a guitar out from behind his back, handed me an acoustic. And I was like, "All right, sis, what are we doing?"
Sure.
And that was it. It was June of 2021. I started just picking around and playing and trying to learn chords, and I just went to like Ultimate Guitar Tab, and because I didn't know if it was still up, but it still is. And I just started finding the easiest country songs I could find, and just started learning them, like Neon Moon and stuff like that. Just 3 chord, really easy songs, and I built up a set list. And in September of 2021, I was like, "Hey, I'm ready." I was like, "All right." So the last weekend of September of 2021 was my first ever paid gig. Like that, I've never been paid to go play somewhere before. It only ever been talent shows and things like that or buddies' houses. And I was like, "Wow, this is pretty neat." Up until that point, I had second jobs to try to make enough money to survive. After a divorce and child support and insurance, and all this stuff. I I was a bouncer at White Buffalo for like 3 weeks. I did not enjoy that. I cleaned private jets and washed trucks and 18 wheelers, and all this kind of stuff, just looking for a way to get by. And then this fell into my lap, and the amount of money that I could make in a short amount of time, 3 hours on stage can make this much money. I was like, well, maybe I need to focus on this a little more. And now, I play on any weekend that I want to play. I
Now
can
you're in
play.
demand.
Yeah. And I've recorded in Nashville. I've performed on Broadway in Nashville. I've done writers rounds up
Isn't that
there.
incredible?
It's crazy. This last year I got to go. So my sister, her name was Cheyenne. She was named after Cheyenne Frontier Days Rodeo in Cheyenne, Wyoming. My dad was, we grew up a rodeo family, and he rodeo bareback, and he always wanted to go. He never did. And we always said one day we're all going to go. Unfortunately, she's passed. We haven't had the opportunity, but I got asked to do the national anthem at Cheyenne Frontier Days this year. So I flew up, and the morning of, I didn't realize it, but every day is like a theme. So one day is like, wear white or for whatever reason. And then Thursday morning, I'm there and I'm getting ready to go. And once somebody looks at me and goes, hey man, you got a pink shirt? I was like, no, I don't need a pink shirt for. He's like, well, it's Real Men Wear Pink. It's for like cancer, breast cancer, and just cancer awareness. And I was like, today? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, they didn't know the correlation, but for me, it was super special because my sister had passed of cancer. My sister-in-law was going through a battle with breast cancer. And here I wanted to do this to honor my sister Cheyenne. So it just all kind of culminated and came together in this like perfect moment again. And it's just those moments, those little moments just keep happening.
Good for you,
And
man.
it's just been incredible.
Now let's talk about faith.
Yeah.
Is faith in part a very big part of your life and of your music?
It is. It is. So like for me, I grew up in the church. I grew up Southern Baptist and Pentecostal. So people used to be like, "What are you?" I'm like, "I'm Baptist-costal," because I do a little bit of both. We go pray here on this church and then go worship over here and run around the sanctuary, like a little bit of all of it. And grew up, went into ministry. Like I moved to Sarasota um, and took a job. I was a youth pastor here in town for one church for about 2 years, and then moved away, and then moved back and was a youth pastor at another church. And just faith has always been a huge part of my life. I went through my own, like, I hate the buzzword, but it's called deconstructing of my faith. And like, why do I believe what I believe? Like I read through the scripture for myself, and I tried to make sense of it from my own understanding instead of like just taking in all these little bits and pieces that I hear from this pastor, and make my faith my own. And that shifted. That was a big shift in the way I view religion and faith and all those things. But it's still a huge part of my life, and I still pray daily. And I wouldn't be here, if it weren't for God. Like the hand that He's had in my life and in music in my life. It's funny, today I was just praying. I was like, God, like if this is what I'm supposed to be doing, send me something to just let me know, like reassure me that this is the path I need to be on, because sometimes it's hard. It's hard being a musician. It's hard being a solo musician. Sometimes I wish I had a band, buddies to kind of share some of this burden with, but it's hard. And I'm doing it as a single dad, and my day job, I have to travel a lot for work. So I'm trying to, like, when I know I'm going somewhere, I try to book a gig in that area. Doesn't always happen, but it's just, there can be a lot of stress associated with it. But I still love it. Like I can
Tell
be,
tell us the audience what do you love the most about live performing?
I love the crowd. I love seeing a song catch a crowd. Like it can be two people in a bar, and if I catch one of them tapping their toe, I've got it. And it's just that extra little push to be like, okay, now I know where to take you. And then I get to weave the tapestry of the night through my song selection. So like I don't have a set playlist. And that's the benefit of being a solo artist. Now, when I'm playing with a band, I have a playlist. Like we don't deviate because we practice those. But as a solo artist, I can pick and choose, and I can take requests. And I love that. It engages the crowd. It brings people in. I'm like, hey, what do you want to hear?
Right.
And it's just an adventure. It's fun. I can have the worst possible day, and by the second song, boy, I done forgot all about that, and I'm just having a good time. And I love that. That's just,
I tell people there's a like an evolution. You start off as a musician, right? So you learn some chords and you learn how to sing, and then you become a performer, and then you transfer into being an entertainer, because now you realize it's not about you, it's about the audience, it's about them having a good time. So you do what you got to do to entertain them, and that's the basic reason why we're getting paid to perform, is to entertain the crowd, so they'll spend money and buy food and drink, right?
yeah.
Tell their friends how great of a night they had. So you're going through that process now of just learning, getting good, performing. Now you're entertaining, right? And now you're making somebody smile. You're making somebody laugh. Maybe you're responsible for people coming together. Their first date. Maybe that's happened. I've heard of musicians tell me that their fans would come, go north and come back south down for the season, and say, yeah, we got married because of you guys. We met at your gig. Those types of things.
Oh, the devil, and one keeps driving me insane. Times I wonder, if they ain't both to blame. One's a liar, it helps hide me from my pain. One's alone, gone, yeah, true. That's the difference between the whiskey and you. Oh, that's the difference between the whiskey and you.
Yeah, it's great, man. I love it. I love what it does. I love the feedback. And like I'm a Sarasota local guy, and I've gotten to go out and play all these other places and stuff, and it's been just a whirlwind and a ton of fun. But I am so appreciative of every person that, if I could, I'd shake every person's hand that compliments me or is dancing or laughing or having a good time or tipping me or follow me on socials or whatever, because like that's what I do it for. I don't do it for me. Like I write my songs for me, but I write them in a way that I want others to enjoy it. Because like one night I was just sitting around a campfire and I was playing at a buddy's house, and his adult son, who is rarely ever there, was there that night, and I'm playing this song. And afterwards he's like, dude, he's like, I don't get emotional for music. He's like, you had me like tearing up. Like that song was great. And I was like, there you go, man. That's why I write this stuff.
I've yet to see you perform, but I'm getting the drift that you put your heart and soul into it, man, and
Yeah.
and that your personality comes out in the music, right?
Yeah. That's
And
what,
your performance.
yeah.
And that's huge, man.
Yeah.
Because that you can't teach that. Like that's something that has to be organic, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. Like so I look at it like this. I think that there are musicians, there are performers, and then there's entertainers. Like you were
Right.
kind of like you were saying. And there are levels. And in our town we have some guys that are just incredible musicians, and they will blow you away with their talent. And they're sit there, but they're not going to engage, they're not going
Right.
to walk you down a storyline or
That's
anything
right.
like that. Then you got the guys that are the entertainers, and they are the ones that, maybe they're not the most proficient or they don't have the best vocals, but man, they will entertain you, they will draw you in, they will make it. Then you got that guy on the end, that performer, and he's got all of it. He has mastered his tool, whether that be his voice or his guitar or his drums, whatever. He has mastered that, and he has taught himself how to work a crowd and how to engage.
So is it safe to say that Garth Brooks went through those three
I think
phases,
so.
right?
I think so.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's I think there's 2 documentaries on him, whether it's Netflix or HBO or something, talks about his early career.
Yeah.
And then it talks about how he took all that time off and came back, and it was even bigger.
Yeah.
He was afraid that, remember he said he was afraid to come
Yeah.
back, and then it turned out to be huge.
Yeah.
So let's talk about him, because Garth Brooks flipped everything on its head.
Yeah.
He took country music to the next level. Now there's some people that might say, well, Garth Brooks ruined country music
Mhm.
because he commercialized it, he made it corporate, right?
Yeah.
I disagree. I think at the same time that he was coming up, the world was changing.
Yeah.
There were different means of getting your music now, right? You can download stuff, right? Yeah, different kinds of devices. So his records were like #1 selling records, for chart topping for many, many, many months. And it's because he just took off at the right time.
Mhm.
And I think that so many people love him, and so many people credit him for their successes. Like you made it very clear that he's a very big part of your music.
Yeah.
Right. Growing up listening to him. So I'm all for it, man. But I also respect the guys of the old country guys, like they're what do you call that? Is it called country? It's like
There's the outlaw country
the
guys.
outlaw guys,
That's
right?
like Waylon and Willie and all of the,
And there's
all those
diehard
guys.
fans for that kind of music,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like they'll fight over that.
Oh
stuff.
yeah. And I think that's like, so country has become, in my opinion, has become the melting pot. But now they're earmarking. So you got Americana country, you got traditional country, neo-traditional country, you got outlaw country, and you got pop country, right? So there's all these different facets that fall under country now. So you got the pop country, which is your Morgan Wallens and stuff like that, like Post Malone, all the
good looking people that might have been on MTV or no, I should say American Idol.
yeah, something like that.
Like
So
that kind of
yeah. And like it's got that poppy vibe. So maybe it's got some 808s mixed into it. It's got a beat. And it's, it's fun. It's fun to hear in the club or when you're out drinking or whatever. Then you've got more of what's now like coming back is kind of that 90s sound with like Zach Top. I love it. It's just incredible. And the dude's super talented, but he sounds almost like Alan Jackson coming back from the 90s. And it's great. It's great for our time. Then you've got like Appalachian country, which is bringing in like Tyler Childers. And you've got this molding of bluegrass kind of resurging in these different, like, so Zach Top was a bluegrass guy. Now he's doing country, but you hear the undertones in his
Did you
music.
see the Ken Burns documentary on country music?
I don't think so.
You have to see
Okay.
because he's a fantastic guy. He did a documentary on the Civil War, on the history of baseball. He did one on country music, and it's breathtaking because it talks about the Appalachian Mountains, and the Europeans came, and then they were locked into a certain area, so that music stayed there, and
Yeah.
and all the people that came through there, the influences. You would be fascinated by
Yeah.
it because it takes you on a history.
Yeah.
But I want to throw out some names, and I want to get your opinion. So, like when Shania Twain came on the scene,
Mhm.
okay, MTV was popular. She was breathtakingly gorgeous.
Mhm.
So, and then she married a producer of a rocket, like I think it was Jeff Muttling.
Mhm.
Was it Mutt?
Mutt.
Who like already had produced AC/DC, Def Leppard. So he gave her a certain sound,
Mhm.
and she took off through the stratosphere. I mean,
Mhm.
she was all over MTV and the radio. Like,
Yeah.
so how would you classify her? Was that
So
leaning towards more pop?
that was pop country. So you had like the traditional at the time was like Reba. She is the queen of country music, Reba McEntire. And then you had Shania come in, and Shania took and put more of a pop sound or pop beat to country lyrics. And that's what same thing that Garth did. Garth started kind of like adding a little more pop, a little more like his lyrics weren't just about drinking, or just about his woman leaving. And so it was something new, something fresh, and it was a good sound. And melodically, his voice is very good. Like, so a lot of these guys, like, you got to have the twang to be country, you got to have this, but he just had a clean, crisp, very like vocally pleasing to the ear voice. And people latched onto that because, you come from super twang like Travis Tritt and George Strait and Alan Jackson. You got the outlaw country guys, deep, and then you got Willie, who's got his own unique voice. But nobody in the country genre during that time frame had that really clean, like just great male
So almost like
vocal.
it was sellable from a marketing perspective. It was sellable to everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift might have started country, and maybe she does have a few country songs, but now she crosses over so many
Mhm.
lines. I mean, she could be over here, she could be over here, she could be over here. She's truly a mega star.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
She has an incredible marketing team, and she is an incredible lyricist. And so the thing is I think what Taylor Swift did that was great is she wrote for her age, maybe a little bit older, but she locked in this demographic of this like age group. And those people have just stayed with her, and they have locked in, and they have been diehard fans the whole time, and they just keep going with her. And the older they get, the more money they get because they're getting careers and stuff like this. And so they're spending, and then they're introducing it to their nieces, and then they're introduced to their daughters.
It's so
and
funny you say that.
the lyrics hold up.
Yeah.
And so like it's still continuing, and she makes music whether you love it or hate it. Now vocally, like I don't think she has the greatest voice, but she writes good songs. She's got great production behind her. Not all of her songs are just knocking it out of the park, but she's solid. And she, like, again, I go back to the lyrics because I feel like now if you're out dancing and drinking, like you don't really care about the lyrics. You're just doing your thing. But her stuff, her music's not built for the club. It's built for when you're emotional, when you're wanting to feel, when you're wanting validation of your feelings.
Jelly Roll is very much like
Same,
that.
yeah.
Like you could tell he writes from his heart.
Yeah. I love lyrics. Lyrical content to me is like paramount. Maybe that's because I write, but I consider myself like I want to say the emo cowboy. Like I love emotional music. Always have. I love the stuff that's tear jerking, that's gonna make you cry or make you think. And so I gravitate towards lyrics and towards like a really clean voice. And there's some guys out there that I'm not a huge fan of their voice, but man, their lyrics are so like
You
Jelly
must-
Roll. Jelly Roll, I think his lyrics are incredible. I'm not the biggest fan of his voice, but I think of him, I think he seems like a really great guy. And I've know people who've met him personally and like, dude, he's just as genuine as
Oh,
what
I
you
would
see
love to have
TV.
him on the show.
Oh,
interview
yeah.
him. So you must love Vince Gill. And there's a
Oh,
song,
yeah.
Go Rest High.
Yeah. Yeah.
That song makes me freaking cry.
Oh yeah.
It pulls at my heart, man.
Yeah.
It's such a great song. And one day he sang it live, And he was crying himself because it was a very, I guess his, like, did he write it about his brother?
Brother,
Then his
yep.
brother died.
Yeah.
But then somebody famous that he was friends with died, so he sang it live.
Mhm.
And Garth Brooks was in the front row with his wife, and Garth stood up because he knew that he was struggling and support.
Mhm.
Like, I support your brother. I see what you're
Yeah.
going through, because it was hard for him to
Yeah.
play it. Like, Vince Gill was singing, and he was like started to cry.
Yeah.
And you could hear his voice go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I didn't try to sing at my sister's funeral, because I was like, I wouldn't just
No,
wouldn't
but
make
country
it.
music, I think,
Yeah.
is pulls at heartstrings. It's also could celebrate. It's about celebratory. There's a lot of fun country
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about line dancing, right? So the Joyland,
Yeah.
the Joyland is now moving to a bigger location,
Yep.
specifically to have more room for larger acts and more line dancing.
Yeah.
Because I think, and this is another reason why I think you're successful, is that there's a hunger, there's an appetite here for country music.
Yeah.
Whether it's a solo, duo, or full band. There's not enough country music here. There's
No.
plenty of guys like me, jacked up, 80s, 90s. I mean, there's more than enough of that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we need more country music. We need more country venues.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
No, I do agree. And I think it's so like I've been playing at Joyland now for about 3 years. So like they'll call me and be like, "Hey man, you want to come play?" And like sometimes they'll give me on the schedule. And they've been, I mean, I love those guys. Like they're really genuine, great guys, and they want to have a legit country bar for people to line dance and to bring in some live acts. And so like I've gotten to open for some touring acts there, which has been incredible. Like, so for me, that just experience, like it allows me to like kind of be that guy that kind of gets the crowd hyped up for the next act. And then afterwards I get to watch them feed the crowd. And then
Sure.
like a games, like I feel like I learn a lot from
Of
that.
course you do, yeah.
But like now with the new venue, it's geared to give them space for line dancing, but it's also like going to open up an opportunity to bring in maybe a little bit bigger acts.
Sure.
And it's unfortunately, with Big Top closing, the Big Top Live,
Right.
closing, that's kind of left a hole, and they're going to do their best to try to fill that. And they've already picked up some of those acts that were scheduled.
But here's the deal. As much as I love indoor venues,
It's hard.
especially when it rains a lot here, thunder and
Excuse me.
lightning and the heat, we desperately need outdoor venues.
Yes,
And
we do.
Big Top Live had huge plans for the new owners to come in there.
Yeah.
And they were going to put a lot of time and effort and money into it. And I saw the potential there. And,
Yeah.
I'm saying to myself, man, please. I mean, I love the Twisted Fork, and we play there a lot. We're blessed. That's down in Port Charlotte.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful,
Cool
wonderful
spot.
outdoor spot. But we need something like that in Sarasota, don't you think?
I do. I wish, like, and this is a community, but have you played at Whalen Park?
I don't even know what that is.
So Whalen Park is like the new side of North Porch, right across the street from the stadium, the new Brave Stadium.
No
And
kidding.
so they built all these condos and stuff, and it's centered around this big open field with a really nice stage. And so they'll bring in an act there during season. I think it's every Friday. They'll bring in an act
No
of
kidding.
some kind, full band. And I've opened down there 2 or 3 times for No Filter. And but that thing will pack out. There'll be 2,000 people there.
They could fit that many, huh?
Yeah, and it's just to open. Like people got their fold out chairs, and they'll come at like 3:00 and put their fold out chairs for a show that doesn't start till 6.
Yeah.
Because they all live in the condos, so it's really great.
Especially when
But
the weather's gorgeous. Right?
Yeah, but it also brings in people that don't just live there. It like they promote it and they bring in. Yeah, I wish that we had something like that. Something that was like centrally located.
Right.
Doesn't have to be right off the interstate, but something that's maybe not downtown, because
Well-
downtown's got so much great live music. I
Yeah,
love downtown,
the
but
problem-
we need to separate. I feel
The
like
problem with downtown is that, they're having problems with noise. It's
Yeah.
going to get worse. And I don't think there's any country bars downtown.
there's definitely not any country bars downtown.
Derek Lurch,
Yeah, good
he,
friend of
he
mine.
was here not too long ago, and he's talked about how there's a place that he plays up in St. Pete. There's a country bar up there.
The farm. Welcome
Yeah.
to the farm. Yeah, I
Yeah,
play
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, what's that like?
So that's pretty cool. So Chase Rice, who's a country artist, he's a co-owner of that. There's 2 locations, one in Ohio, and then there's one here. And Derek, because he's got a full band, he gets to play both, which is awesome. And that's one, for me, kind of a drawback to not going full band yet. But it's a great venue. It is a country venue. Like it is country and Western, and they want to bring in, but it's not like a line dancing venue. So that's the difference. It is a live music. Come in, let's jam. If there's enough room, between people and you want to try a line dance, do that. But if not,
Is
let's just
there
have
an
a good time.
elevated stage, or is the stage like on the same floor with the dancers?
No, it's elevated. So it's like a 2.5 foot riser stage, pretty small, but it's also the back wall of that is the back wall of Janice.
Right.
So like there's a door that
Yeah, yeah,
stays locked. If you were to go through that, you'd be in Janice.
But
you
he
know,
was
back
saying that it was packed with young people, especially women,
Friday and Saturday
because
nights.
they
Yep.
love country music.
Yeah.
So as a marketing guy, I'm like, shit, people need to cater more towards country music.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money to be made.
Well, I mean, if you go to Joyland, once it's back open, go to Joyland on Thursday night. That's ladies' night. And at the old Joyland, which is now Encore Live, which I'm really excited about that too, but it would be packed. Like you would walk in and you'd get through like the entryway, pay your entry fee or whatever, and you come in and then you just hit a wall of people. And it would be so many people there that people would be standing on the dance floor because there's nowhere else to stand and kind of encroaching on the line dancers.
That's insane.
So that's why like the new Joyland is going to be nice. You also have Cadillac Jacks, and they have a small dance floor, but they still have line dancing as well. And they're bringing in some live acts when they can on
I haven't
weekends.
been in there yet. I spoke to the owner, but I haven't been inside yet.
It's really small.
Parking looks like it's tight to park
Yeah,
there.
the parking and everything. It's not the greatest location, but it gives you something more on the south side of Sarasota versus, Joyland up on University. So it kind of gives you some distance for the people who don't want to go all the way up there. And it's just good competition there, I think. But again, they're trying to bring in some live country acts. They bring in like once or twice a month, they bring in a full band there, like a country band. Last night, they had a fiddle player, and I didn't get to go, but I saw videos like he's on the bar and just tearing it up, and people were just loving it. The place was packed. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm really excited for Joyland. And I like those guys.
Yeah.
They're really good guys.
Yeah.
Chuck and Charlie and those
Yeah.
guys. They're great guys. And I really wish, I hope that they have a lot of success.
I do too, man. I still got to get them dates. Shh, don't tell them. But I was supposed to get them some dates because they've got some new stuff coming up, new formatting.
When are they going to officially open their doors?
That I don't know. They're leaning towards this week.
Are they still like putting floor down, or is that all done?
I think the floor is down. They had like a soft, like a little like, shh, come check it out this weekend. And so we'll see what this coming week has to hold.
Because on this show, I promote Encore Live. I'm friends with David and Kristen.
Yeah.
And, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff with them on this show. And I'm excited about that because I'm a rock guy.
Yeah.
But they're not just going to do rock music. They're going to do all types of music except country.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting on a Saturday night when you're going to have one place rocking, the other place is going to be rocking, right? And there's a huge parking lot, so thank God for that.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And there's still plenty of parking around, so you could park and just walk around. But I think one of them's having valet at least, which is smart. But it's going to become an entertainment mecca. It's going to be a destination.
Yeah,
like you could roll in there on a Saturday and hit both clubs.
Yeah,
bounce around.
Yeah, you could. And so like I know, and things could change, so don't take me to this, but like conversations I've had is Joyland is really like the line dancing is a huge thing for them. And so they're going to really work at building that even more. And unfortunately, like live music sometimes doesn't always lend the best for line dancing.
Yeah, DJs are better for
DJs are better for that. So they're trying to find that middle ground. I think they're going to do a great job with it, finding a middle ground of like, how can we still have live music? Because they want to be, because I mean, the owners are all live musicians. Like they're good musicians and they want to keep that going. And so they want to figure out like, where's the happy median? Instead of saying we're only doing live music these nights, well, what if we do DJ and live music? Or what if we, do live music only certain nights of the month? Or what? Like, so they're figuring that out. And I think they're going to do a good job. They're going to find a median.
If I know Chuck Reedy, they're going to hit a winning formula. That guy's smart. He'll figure it out. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Just like David Lay, he's already got all these tribute bands coming. Because like in the rock world, like people love the AC/DC tribute, the Van Halen stuff.
Yeah.
And he's doing ticketed events, and he's going to bring in the local cover bands to fill around that, right? But I just think it's exciting, man. I'm a musician. I have a podcast show about music. So, and I have interesting guests like you come in here, So this thing is going to keep rolling. I have my calendar for this show is pretty booked.
That's awesome.
I got a different musician every week.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to have a country guy because I don't do enough country.
Yeah.
I did have Dwayne from One Night Rodeo. You know those guys?
Yeah.
I love that band.
Yeah.
I remember the old One Night Rodeo.
Yeah. Chuck was in it.
Yeah. but I saw there were different versions of that band.
Yeah.
But it's still a very successful band. They sound fantastic.
Yeah. They keep it going like that. I mean, they'll have, members come and go, but they still keep
Corey,
touring around.
Remember Corey? I love Corey.
To me, I'm really good with faces,
but Dwayne's a solid guy and he sings so well. And he switched over from bass to guitar.
Yeah.
He was
Okay.
playing that 6-string bass. And I
Oh.
was like, Jesus, I have a tough time with the 4-string. That cat's playing a 6-string.
I've got a 4-string acoustic bass hanging on my wall, and I have no idea how to tune it, how to play it, but it looks pretty. Somebody gave it to me when they were moving. They're like, "You want this?" I was like, "Yeah, man."
So
Well,
other things that go on in this town is like there's a Paragon Seafood Festival.
mhm.
So that's Bill Kenny, and he'll do like Tampa, St. Pete, all the way down,
Yeah.
and then sometimes he comes back, do a couple in Sarasota, a couple in
Yeah.
Punta Gorda. But that's fun because it's really really good seafood, and then they got tons and tons of cold beer, and he always brings in really good acts.
Yeah.
Doesn't do a lot of country, but occasionally he'll get a country act in there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll have a reggae,
Yeah.
but it's mostly rock, classic rock. Because when I'm in Punta Gorda, man, and I'm looking out at the audience, I'm seeing a lot of 65 to 70, 75-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's the perfect demographic, and they all love rock and roll.
Yeah.
Whether it's classic rock, or blues rock, or country rock.
Yeah.
They eat it up, man.
Oh yeah. I haven't been fortunate enough yet to get on a festival or a festival circuit. I want to get there, but again, kind of have to have a band for that. The cool thing is, so I will say this, a big shout out to two guys that when I didn't even know for sure I was going to do this, I met these guys, just good guys. And that is Thorson Moore and Brian Bird.
Well, two of the best musicians in the area.
I met them. I watched them play one night at Cask, and they were done. And Brian got out of there. I didn't get to meet Brian, but I met Thorson. And we ended up staying there until, I don't know, it was like maybe 2 a.m, just drinking and, just shooting the bull and telling each other stories and talking about music. And I was like, wow, like, this is cool, man. And then I went back a couple weeks later and he introduced me to Bird, and then we all hung out for a while, and they just kind of like accepted me, which was like, they never heard me sing. And then one day they were like, Brian was like, "You can sing?" I was like, "I mean, I think I can." He was like, "All right, Tennessee Whiskey?" I was like, "Yeah, I know Tennessee Whiskey." And then like 10 minutes later, he goes, "Tonight we got a special guest, Jason White,
There
gonna
you
sing
go.
Tennessee Whiskey." I'm like, "What?"
Hey, that's the way baptism, right there by fire.
So they pull me in. Never played with this band. Haven't played with a full band, maybe since high
Well,
school.
let's talk about that. Why? What's preventing you from doing that? I mean, are you having so much fun as a solo guy, or do like you just haven't found the right players yet?
Well, it's to me, it's I want to find guys that like can dedicate themselves to the country sound, right? And here, there's a lot of rock guys. Now, there's some guys that can fake it till you make it, kind of on country. But I want somebody that can say, like, if you commit to me to be in my band, I will work my butt off to keep us busy. But I can't do it every weekend. I have my daughters. I'm a single dad half the time. So every other weekend I have my daughters. And unless it's a private gig that pays well, they come first. And so that's kind of something that's hamstringed me a little bit. But I love playing with a band. Like when I play with those guys, Dirty Bird, it is a blast. It is an absolute blast. And I played with the Joyland guys, and I have so much fun because I don't have to think as much. I feel like when I'm with the band, like I can put the guitar down from
Are you
time
just
to time.
singing when you play with those guys? You just sing, or you bring your guitar?
I play rhythm, acoustic rhythm,
Okay.
and then some songs I'll set it down because like there's really no need for it. Like they're gonna crush it more than I could, and then I can work the crowd even more.
Right.
And I love that. Like that is a dynamic that to me is just special.
Brian Bird to me is one of the best musicians in this area, and he's also one of the best kept secrets because a lot of people don't really know Brian and know how good he is,
Yeah.
and the sound that he produces.
Yeah.
I mean, the steel guitar. Who's playing that stuff around here? Nobody.
Nobody.
He's the only guy I know.
Well,
He's got a monopoly on that sound, man.
So what gets me is like, so you think steel guitar and you immediately think old country. Now Bird can sit there and he can play that old country, but then he can go and he can rip that steel guitar to
Dude, he can do
shreds
Jimi
on
Hendrix.
anything. Jimi Hendrix,
Yeah,
Prince. I mean, you name it.
he's a true musician. There's
Oh
no
yeah,
doubt.
he's
There's no doubt.
phenomenal. And the fact that those guys think enough of me to allow me to play with them, it's just blown me away. Like
Well,
a lot of times,
let's talk about that because that's a big credit to you that these well-versed, well-trained musicians are accepting you into their crowd.
Yeah.
That's very big on you that they like you. A, B, that you have enough chops to keep up with them, right? So don't
Yeah.
discredit yourself, man.
I will say that is a fault. It's hard for me to take that, like to allow that to sink in. That like that means I'm better than what I think I am. Like because we're always our biggest critics. We're always our we
Yeah.
can pick ourselves apart easily.
Right.
But like the fact that they're like, "Hey, come play with us," and then even like at Cask and Ale, the leadership, ownership, management at Cask and Ale has gone to them and been like, "We want him back.
Yeah.
We want a country night." And like that feels
You got
that
a
feels
great
good.
personality, brother. And here's what I'm thinking. You need a manager. You need an agent. You need someone that's going to propel you and
Yeah,
help you
probably.
do a lot of the heavy lifting,
Yeah.
do the bookings, do the all that stuff that you need. Because I've now seen that world, and I realize that, that's what a lot of musicians are lacking. Like maybe sometimes they're lucky to have their wife do it, or maybe their adult child can do it. But like you're being a full-time dad, having a job, and then you have to do the marketing.
Yeah.
It's not easy, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And I
know?
mean, just look at my socials. Like my socials are not the greatest. And like I'll just be sitting on my leather chair, my couch at the house, just playing a song, just doing a cover song, putting it out there. And here recently I've like everybody's like, man, you gotta branch. You can't just be sitting there playing music. So some of them are just crazy, but it's getting attention. And I'm like, all right, I'm just trying my best here, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing with
How about this?
socials, with my website, all this stuff.
What if you got on a tour where you went with an established band? It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be an A-level band or
Yeah.
even a B-level band. It could be a C-level working band, and you go on tour as their opening act.
That would be
That
incredible.
would be an incredible thing for you
Oh, yeah.
because it would teach you a lot. You'd learn a lot,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, you get paid to do that. But, I mean, obviously, you'd have to find arrangements to help, for your daughters
Yeah.
get some care for them while you're gone. But, that might be the next step for you, man.
Might be, and I'm really looking forward to so I've been writing now since my divorce. I've been writing again, and it's been therapeutic, but it's been great.
Tell me
And-
about these songs. Are these sad songs? Do they love songs? How would you classify what you're currently writing?
Yeah, most of what I've written are kind of more in the love vein, probably more so to the breakup or
So a sad
going
love
through it.
as
Yeah,
opposed
so-
to a new and exciting
Yeah,
romantic love.
yeah. Some of it's new, exciting. Some of it's a little tongue in cheek. Some of it's a little risque. Like there's one song called it's called Lost Time. And it's like in my head, it was about this couple that were apart. And when he comes back together, he's like, man, I just can't wait to make up for lost time with you. Like, just like when you get home, girl, so that's that one. But then I got another one that's called Shame on Me. That looks like it's probably going to be my first release in March, but it's called Shame on Me. And it's like how I thought that person loved me more than they did. And so it's shame on you and
Sure.
shame on me.
And these are real emotions that people go through all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why it's going to be successful because you're going to strike a chord with people.
Yeah. And these came from a real place. So it's funny. So, after my divorce, I started writing a little bit. And in the first 3 years after my divorce, I wrote 11 songs. Then I met this young lady, and in a year of knowing her, of dating her and knowing her, and we broke up and all too, but I wrote 24 songs in that year. And it was just like, it just
Was she
opened the
your
floodgates.
muse?
She was like,
Totally.
she was my muse. And it just like these songs came out, and there's fun ones, there's sad ones, there's in between ones, but it's just great.
So
I love it.
Is it safe to say that you're following a country music formula that has been working for centuries where musicians are writing about what's on their heart, and men and women is like the number one thing, right, in the world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What do you think
And so
about
it's crazy. Like, I've got 40 something songs that are, I've got 34, 35 that are done that like could be recorded. I've started on those. I've got 8 recorded so far, and we're going to start rolling those out. And then I've got probably 200 more that are snippets, probably more than that, like hooks or verses
you,
or
man.
choruses.
Good for you.
None of those mention Jack Daniels, whiskey, getting drunk, or anything like that, because that's not the life that I live. So
Okay.
like I write from experience.
That's
I write
fair.
from my heart. And like I'm not somebody that I didn't grow up drinking. I grew up as wanted to be a pastor, so I didn't go get crazy and do all that stuff. And so that didn't make its way into my music. Not yet. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, and I'm sure it'll come. But for the most part, like all of my stuff has been based off of real world experiences and
Love and emotion.
love and emotion.
Maybe your
maybe
faith.
a little lust in there too, but like
Sure.
having a good time. But it's just I'm proud of what I produce, what I've written. And now not all of them are bangers. I know that. Like you got to write bad songs and good songs. And I know some of them are good. Some of them are really good. Some of them are like,
From a cover perspective, do you think Tennessee Whiskey is probably the most requested
yeah.
country song? I mean, is
Yeah.
it even? I mean, who wrote that song? First of all, like, where'd that come from? Because the first time I heard
Dean
it,
Dillon wrote it.
Chris Stapleton, who's amazing,
Yeah.
right? He still wins awards, and his sleep he wins awards. But when he did it with Justin Timberlake,
Yeah.
and that went all over the universe.
So the original version, if you hear the original, it doesn't sound anything like the version that you hear now that's so popular. So when it came out, I believe it was David Allen Coe who did it first, and then George Jones. And then what happened was, as Chris Stapleton was touring around, him and his band, they loved the song, but they just on a whim put it to the melody of an Etta James song. And then Justin heard it and they were like, let's do it. And then when they did it on that award show, it took off. So that's not the original composition of the song. It's what Chris Stapleton made it into. And so when you say the Chris Stapleton version, you're getting a very unique version of that song, unlike the other versions.
But now every cover band, including mine, Jacked Up, will play it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've sang it so many times and I didn't get it on
How
video.
do you prefer it? Do you prefer it in a full band? Do you prefer just you on a guitar? Do you prefer it on a piano? Like how do you like
I
it?
prefer it with a full band because I don't even necessarily do it the way Chris does it. Because I've done it enough. Like I just kind of let it happen. Because I love the song and I love what it's saying. I love the words of it. And so like one time there was like a party of musicians here in town and they were like, hey, get up and do Tennessee Whiskey. And I was like, okay. And I don't know if I was just in my feels that night or what, but it was a lot more bluesy. And I was like, that felt more authentic to me singing that song.
I see it going in that direction without a doubt.
Yeah. Because it's like, I want to stay as close and as true to the version that you hear on the radio every time I play a song. But at the same time, sometimes I'll kind of add my own inflection, my own emotion to the song and kind of make it somewhat mine. Now, some guys will take a song and you'll hear it and be like, wait, what song is that? I feel like I know that. It won't sound anything like what you heard originally. It doesn't sound anything like the radio or the album version. They've made it so completely theirs that you're like, I don't even recognize that song. Now, there's one guy in town that does that, and he's phenomenal, my buddy Ross. I mean, unbelievable how he can take a song. But for me, I still am only just a chord player. So I'm still playing the original 4, and I've taught myself probably 6, 8 more, and I'm going through these songs. I'm learning as I go.
Do you sometimes fantasize what it would be like if you had a kick-ass guitarist, a kick-ass pianist, a fiddle player behind you, man, what you could do, what you could accomplish?
Especially if I had fiddle. I personally, I love fiddle. And
who plays fiddle down here? Are there?
I've met some older people that play fiddle, but they're not like wanting to go out and play all the time.
There was a woman who played a Twisted Fork. She was pregnant and very pregnant. So I'm sure she's probably like not playing right now because she had a kid, but she got up and played the electric fiddle and she was phenomenal. And I said to her, I mean, it was a stupid thing to say because she like maybe looked at me like I was nuts. I said, do you know how to play Bob O'Reilly? Of course she does. Right? Like, why would I even ask that? But my band always wanted to do that, you know, without the violin and but
what blows me away is just how much talent there is in this town. And you said it reminded me of this story. I'm playing at Pop's down in Venice, right?
Sunset, yeah.
Yeah, Pop's Sunset Grill. And I'm playing there. It's an afternoon show. Nothing fancy. I'm just playing. And this lady comes up. She's like, do you know Devil Went Down to Georgia? And I was like, I mean, I know Devil Went Down to Georgia, but I don't play Devil Went Down to Georgia because it's just me on this acoustic box and it's not going to sound good. She was like, well, like, I play fiddle. I was like, you do? She was like, yeah, I'd love to play it with you sometime. I was like, you don't have your fiddle right now, do you? And her husband's like, she does. And so this lady, he every time they go out, he packs her fiddle because he wants her to play. And so she pulls out the fiddle.
Was she a light-skinned black woman by chance?
No.
Okay, because that's who this.
But this here lady, she breaks out and we start playing, and we play Devil Went Down to Georgia, and then we played like 2 more songs, and she's over there just tearing it up. Come to find out, she used to tour with Rod Stewart and there's somebody else, Josh Groban, like as a violinist.
Sure.
And I'm just like, this town blows me away.
We could do an entire episode on this show about the musicians that have come through this town.
Oh yeah,
there's no doubt. It's insane. Just Charlotte County, Sarasota, Manatee alone. Not to mention the other counties. I mean, because there's, it's on the water and some of these folks have money. So hey, we're going to wrap up the show. So I want to let people know, how can they reach you? How can they learn about, where you're going to be performing? What's next for you? Yeah. So
all of my stuff is real simple. It's all pretty much the same. So on all social media platforms, it's jason.white.music. That's on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. YouTube is jason.white1, the number 1. Jason.whitemusic, number 1. And then my website is jasonwhiteofficial.com. The calendar's under construction, and I'm still, adding on. So with my day job, I got a raise at the end of last year, but with that raise required more travel. So the fine line that I'm walking is traveling for work, but then also keeping a weekend available to play gigs. And so, like this weekend, this coming weekend, I was supposed to be at um, Owen's Fish Camp downtown. Love that venue. That is probably one of my absolute favorite solo venues in town. And if you've not gone to see anyone play there in the backyard, I highly recommend it. It's
I
got a
saw you and
vibe.
Julia Brown there once. didn't
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a vibe there. And, but I was supposed to play there Friday. And unfortunately, I got a call Friday of this past week. I've got to go to Midland, Texas for work. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's
No, that'll
unfortunate,
straighten
but-
out, dude.
Yeah.
That'll straighten out.
But I've got some more stuff coming up. I play in Fort Myers Beach. I play in Tampa, St. Pete. And I play, all over our area here, Manatee and Sarasota. So, and I'm always posting on like Instagram and Facebook where I'm going to be. I usually post a few days before. And then, like I said, I'm trying to get a handle on that calendar on my actual website.
Sure.
And then you can, contact me through the website or through any of those socials. I do private events. I love private events. I hire the Dirty Birds when I get some private events and they want a full band. I bring those guys with me. And I know I'm with the Dirty Birds full band March 7th downtown at Cascanal. Do you know that?
We're all going to be there then.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
So listeners, March 7th, Cascanal, downtown Sarasota, Main
Yeah.
Street. Be there.
Yeah.
Jason, it's been a pleasure, man.
Thanks, Kurt.
Really. I enjoyed this
Yeah.
interview, and it's nice to meet you, and I wish you the best, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me, man.
And we'll see you around.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thanks.
Today's sponsor is Encore Live, Sarasota Bradenton's #1 destination for live entertainment.